last week delivered some surprises in the conference. Ohio State crushed Minnesota, leaving the Gophers in the dust after a brief early lead. UCLA pulled off the upset of the year, Wisconsin hung in there but couldn't quite keep pace with Michigan, and Nebraska battled Michigan State in a solid matchup. This week promises excitement with Indiana traveling to Oregon and Iowa facing Wisconsin in what could be a grinded-out affair. Ohio State remains at the top after their dominant win. Minnesota had no answer once the Buckeyes got rolling, and now Ohio State heads to Illinois for what could be a tricky early kick. Illinois jumps a spot after handling Purdue, but facing Ohio State this week with injuries on defense might be a rough outing. Michigan continues to climb the rankings despite not looking particularly strong in their win over Wisconsin. This week they face USC on the road, a challenge that tests both travel endurance and performance. Oregon stays at number 2, prepping for a marquee matchup against Indiana. A win could cement their status as serious contenders, while a loss could set back perceptions. Indiana comes off a bye week, ready for a high-stakes showdown in Eugene, a game that could define their season's narrative. Penn State struggles to recover from a shocking loss as a heavy favorite, now facing Northwestern at home. Nebraska holds steady after a hard-fought victory, while Iowa's position depends on the availability of key players for their clash with Wisconsin. USC prepares to host Michigan in a matchup that will influence both teams' momentum. Washington rebounded from a massive deficit to beat Maryland, now hosting Rutgers after traveling across time zones. Minnesota looks to rebound against Purdue during homecoming. Michigan State hosts UCLA following a long trip, hoping to assert control early. Maryland now faces Nebraska, a test of whether their October form is here to stay. UCLA soars after a stunning win but faces another cross-country challenge at Michigan State. Rutgers travels to Washington after a bye, while Northwestern faces a fired-up Penn State. Purdue's offense showed promise despite defensive struggles, heading into a key game against Minnesota. Wisconsin, led by a third-string quarterback, held relatively well against Michigan but faces tough matchups against Ohio State and Oregon next. The conference race is shaping up to be unpredictable and thrilling.